Let's stand. So play.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dave, you wanna, we'll just start with you if you're, uh, approval of the minutes. Everybody looks at them.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Well, I appreciate you letting me do this. Redevelopment. One's on redevelopment commission, Monty's not here. Redevelopment commission is involved in, developing, tax increment districts, up around Crane and Burn City. They're already what's called a TIF. There's already one existing up at Crane around at Westgate. The objective of the redevelopment commission is to establish additional TIF districts, in which to kind of briefly just update you on things. It's if a business goes in there, then there is income that is directed to Martin County, and benefits, and then the redevelopment commission controls that money and they use it for other economic development issues. That TIF district up at Westgate right now has earned probably between $900,000 and $100,000, $900,000 and $1 million. There's probably about 900,000 in the bank now, and the money has been spent over time for other economic development issues. The objective here is to add different areas of Martin County around Crane Village and then also north of Crane Village. And then in the Burn City area, the redevelopment commission believes that those are down the road might be very useful for development issues up in that area. So as part of this whole project, the redevelopment commission developed an economic plan. And the redevelopment commission has passed that plan, adopted that plan. The Indiana statute then does require that this redevelopment plan, this TIF plan, has to be approved by the Board of Commissioners. It is also highly recommended that the county council be asked to sign off on this plan, and that's what I have tonight with a resolution. It's a declaratory resolution supporting the economic development plan that has been adopted, and that would be provided to the Board of Commissioners for their consideration. I don't think we're doing it tomorrow night. I think we're doing it in 2 weeks. So that's my purpose here tonight on behalf of the redevelopment commission.
Any questions?
That's only for businesses coming in or development coming in.
Development, because the one, it could be housing also, right? The Burn City area, I think, could have included housing.
No, I don't believe
Did we
either
not?
one of them.
We didn't end up doing that, did we?
No, they didn't. No, there's not. These are
Okay.
both commercial.
So
Okay,
you're talking multifamily housing or just?
well,
These are not.
multifamily, I think, goes into commercial, but Dave wasn't talking that. We did talk the other, but we didn't end up doing it.
There are TIF. There is the ability to develop TIF districts for residential. And that's been looked at, but at this time, redevelopment commission has decided not to propose those at this point. They're with with housing always being a consideration, for further economic development, that very well may come down the road.
Did they set a cap on the size and the amount of business that's gonna be done on, or?
No, I mean,
So
our,
if somebody wanted to put a gas station out there, are they gonna fall into that, or is it just major commercial business?
Road improvements, utility infrastructure, park improvements, public safety improvements, economic development and government facility projects. So it's
pretty much anything on that side of it, if it's business.
Okay.
not,
Sometimes if somebody put a small business in there, it's gonna dampen, well, not a small business within there because it's the tax rate's going up. Right?
No.
Right now.
No, this is still the regular tax
Okay.
rate.
Mhm.
The funds
Goes to.
goes to the redevelopment until that, was it 25 years? 20 years,
25 years.
for 25 years, from the time the first piece in that district starts.
Okay,
So if nothing happens for 5 years, the clock doesn't start ticking.
okay.
And it's also, what is recovered is based on number of employees.
Okay.
Anything else?
I would think Burn City would be an ideal place to put stuff.
They don't have an infrastructure.
It has a railroad is what they're looking at.
Oh, okay.
If they start using railroad,
Railroad, the highway, and a gate, even though it's not utilized to the base. So
so the right things happened, it could be a key place. And was paying to do it, paying one fee to do it all, so we decided to loop them both in.
You need a motion on this?
Yes, right?
yes,
I make a motion to, the resolution 2025-07.
Gary's motion, do we have a second? Harold second,
Okay.
all in favor? Unanimous.
place for everybody to sign.
How many you need? She, two, one?
Just one, and then I can get copies.
Yeah, I got one in the book too.
You want us to, I'll sign that?
If you
Can we
would,
steal your blue pen?
Michelle, that goes with it.
Okay.
What'd you get?
It was laying here for my phone. I got my own now. Yeah, she gave me. Yeah, used twice. Darn. Oh, look at my desk. Might leak ink on my desk, maybe it'll leak on yours.
Anybody think of any questions before I leave?
And the money that goes to the TIF district is above what's currently paid in property tax. So it doesn't rob anything from the county. It's just paid on the improvement.
Before I leave, Jim and I were talking before the meeting. Everybody really needs to keep an eye on what the legislature's doing with income tax and, property taxes. It's truly gonna cut the legs out from this county
If they get half of it through that they're talking about, we're in bad shape.
Yeah, I don't know, you guys won't have anything to do because you're making money to spend.
There's gotta be some other way for us to get funds. I mean.
Well, they're gonna pass a bunch of laws that, options that we're gonna sit in here and go vote on to raise everybody's taxes because the governor gave it all back to them. And we're gonna be the ones that look like,
Oh, bad guys.
Mhm.
yeah. It may be our last term for every one of us in here when this,
You know, when we was here last time, sheriff told you that I got him about $10,000 to grant through your plan. Well, I got an email this week saying that well, things are all in uproar up there and so forth, and nothing settled. And so I guess he was Indian giver.
oh, really?
But right now, it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, they're changing everything, the highway, yeah. Well, the fire, I mean, kind of everything's on the table and,
It's a dangerous time of the year when the legislature's in session.
Just soon they all go home.
yeah,
It gets me, most of, quite a few of them are from southern Indiana, and there's nothing being done, you know, it's nothing.
All the powers around Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, every one of the people in leadership are, I think in Indianapolis or the donut counties.
well, maybe not the governor.
Actually, I don't know if the governor, the real powers in the legislature, government, Indiana pretty much has a pretty weak governor. That's just the way it's built. So
Anything else for Dave?
I've preached enough.
You got any more good news?
Yeah,
Any more good news?
Yeah.
I'm going home. I think we're having chili tonight.
Mhm.
We'll be over when we're done.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Judge, you wanna,
Good evening, Commissioner Wright Ryan, for those that I don't know if you know, you don't know me, Jordan, I don't think you've ever met us, so nice to see you. So I'm on there for, a bailiff and a temporary court reporter. And I wanted to, I'll start with the bailiff. I have, asked Tony Dana to take the position of bailiff, and he has accepted. Tony started in Martin County in January of 1985, and he retired from Martin County in March of 2020. So he had 35 years that he served as our sheriff and as our chief, and a long time in Martin County, and we are blessed that he's willing to come back. And he's taking quite a substantial pay cut to come back to Martin County, and so I'm hoping that to kind of get in line with where the sheriff is, asking for some additional appropriations and some raises, that I can get that same. So I'm asking to amend the hourly rate to the cap on that of 25. And a couple of things that the sheriff's agreed to. Essentially, he has all of his police powers, and so he would remain. He can wear brown. We're talking about him having a car and having a car station here, all hours of the day. You know, while we're in session, obviously. He's agreed to, walk the perimeter if we're not in session, help do some transports. So it's gonna be a huge benefit to the county, to have this position also, with the way that the sheriff's backing him to have those deputy powers because of his history, with law enforcement. That I think he's worth it, and I'm hoping you all believe in that as well, and you'll meet me there. I believe the sheriff's asking for about $2.72 an hour in a raise, and for the deputies, and mine's just right about with that. Him and I did chat a little bit about that. I thought he was coming, but he told me he couldn't be here. So I figured I would mention that's, him and I've talked, and we're sort of in line on that. I don't know how many of you have like breaking news, but DuBois County they're putting in a metal detector at their door, and they're requiring all staff and patrons, visitors, whomever, to go through their metal detectors that they've stationed at the door. That'll be the only entrance, can't bring anything in. They've been a lot like us in terms of security. They have, just had an open door, kind of like we do. They have more, deputies in the building than we do, but, so I thought that was interesting to see that in the news. Cause that's been a big change for them. We did purchase the metal detector at the end of last year, with the ARPA funds. And so Tony would get trained on that. There's a laptop for that position so that we can pull that up. And again, that we purchased it, the renovation has not taken place downstairs, so there's not the capabilities. My understanding is supposed to happen in March, and the capabilities for that machine will be installed for it to be downstairs. I mean, I don't know how much of you followed last year, and I sat on the chairperson as the courthouse safety team. Warren sat on that, Paul sat on that, and the prosecutor, probation, sheriff, EMA, Andy's on there. So we've worked really hard to make and create different things that are in the benefit of this building and safety. And to me, we can't get better than this. I mean, we can, Tony's like the dream person for this job. And I just would like to see him paid for what he has earned. And so that's why I'm asking for that. I know we just created this position to start this year at that salary. And I think we used it based on what dispatchers were making, which I think theirs may have increased, but this is gonna be more in line with what the raises the deputies are getting. Or I don't know if you're approving it or not, so maybe a little ahead of the game there, but I assume you are. And so that's kind of where my number comes. And I'll feel free to ask me any questions you have.
I'm stuck on one question that
Sure.
you mentioned. You said that metal detector's going downstairs. There's only one entrance to this courthouse as far as that goes, right? How come it's not coming upstairs in front of the big doors?
So you need to have a conversation with the commissioners, because I have asked them to hire a person that sits at that front door with a metal detector and watches every person that walks in this building. And they did not create that position. So I will always ask for that. And if you're in favor of that and you want to give the money for that position,
Well, I
I'll go
understand
to
you have
him.
a courthouse down there, but we also have offices up here that probably have some type of protection.
I 100%
You're allowing Tony to circulate up here too.
Oh, yeah. So if we don't have court in session, he'll be walking outside, he'll be walking inside, but if we're in session, he'll be downstairs. And I've asked them to create a position for a full-time person to sit up here at the door. And that has not happened, but that is, I believe that is necessary.
If Tony, if you're saying that your metal detector's gonna be downstairs, but Tony's gonna be up here walking halls when court is not in session.
So the metal detector, when people come in for court, they will be, they'll go through the metal detector. It will not be stationed up here because there's no one to man it up here. When I came on, the sheriff had provided for security, but there was no deputy in this courthouse 100% of the time. And so that's kind of why we created coming into the bailiff position. Well, the only way that we can have a car is that a bailiff has to do transporting to do that. So I'm willing to do some transporting from the jail to here, and I will not hold court in session unless they have, like the jail commander can bring over or something like that. But right now, there's nobody.
Are you
And-
using one of the sheriff's department cars, or how are you planning on getting a car?
Yeah, the sheriff, if the bailiff does transports, then they'll provide a car to us.
The sheriff's department.
Yeah, it'll be,
Okay.
yeah,
So we're not going after.
I don't have a car. No, I'm not sure that could happen, but,
I think
so,
there's-
but he would
I think
have,
there's one or two of them.
yeah, he would have deputy powers, and so that would allow him that opportunity, which is part of the perk of we're offering to try to get him to accept this position.
So is this gonna be a full-time position for him?
It is a full-time position. You guys have already approved a full-time position. That position was created, it's there. And I have a salary for it. I'm just asking for an increase that's in line with what the deputy increase is being asked.
So he's agreed to work full-time then.
I'm coming to
For-
this meeting tonight asking for that salary. Of course,
If you get that salary, is he agreeing to work full time?
yes.
He's willing to come for that salary. I talked to him today. I don't think we'll see him if he don't get that. I mean, he's
Taking a substantial pay cut, and so
losing a
We're-
lot of dollars an hour.
Oh, yeah.
we're trying
He works at the hospital,
to,
doesn't he?
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they're losing a lot of them at the hospital, but they're going, that's not, none of our concern, but.
But I think that,
So if you would allow it, if the commissioners wanted to do it on the days you're not having court, because that metal detector is,
it's movable,
very
it's amazing.
movable. They could set it up where it could be plugged in out there,
We'll have to probably run some. I think-
internet cables and stuff.
Yeah, I think it had to have a, what was it, not a cat, but
Cat five cable.
I think
it had to have that plug and it had to have some other kind of special
it may have been
plug.
the fire or something. I don't
Like
know.
a-
It may have been high. I don't remember.
Some sort of outlet plug too, so it's got two plugs it needs. And we're gonna put one on the outside of the courtroom and we're putting one on the inside. So if there's, like, if we have court in session, we're gonna have the metal detector inside. And then he'll know if somebody walks in that scans him, cause he'll have it on his laptop.
But
not
that
ideal,
would be
it's
a
not-
conversation with
So-
the
so what
commissioners,
she's coming
if
for-
you allowed it though.
I'll be back asking the commissioners to do it again. We have another meeting coming up in April. I plan to get the safety committee to get on board on that and to keep coming back until this
The
building
part-
has the appropriate safety measures that it needs.
The part of the problem is some of the people in that committee have to pay the bills and if you're reading anything about what Indiana state is wanting to do to us,
No bill paid.
we're gonna be hurting. I don't see how they can do it all, but there's so many counties that have plenty of money that they may pull it off and we'll be hurting because we don't have enough people to screen.
But we do have people in this building every day who come in here and we don't have the level of security that they deserve. And this creates that. And that's all I can say for today. I don't know what will happen and if all those
But-
things happen, that may be a different story. But right now, we need this security and we need this person.
But if he
I
can,
need that
if he can
raised.
move upstairs part of the time, then
Well, I
the,
won't,
the
I won't,
public is gonna learn that they don't know which day.
right, I won't
security is there.
commit that he'll be sitting out there every day. But I will
I'm
commit,
just saying on days that
yeah,
he's not needed downstairs. I
Sure.
mean, cause when you don't have traffic, he can catch everybody up here. When you
Sure.
got court and session, you got a lot of movement.
So,
I don't know how well you know Tony Dan, but he ain't the guy that'll just sit around. He'll be actively patrolling the building. He'll be actively
Yeah.
saying hi to people and participating and going outside. I don't have any doubt that we will feel a lot safer in this building. And I've talked to a couple of
Yeah.
people who know that he's thinking of taking the job and they were quite pleased to hear that.
I was pleased to
I
hear
don't
that.
think there's anybody that will disagree that the positions, you know, it's necessary and that Tony will do a good job with that. I think it's more at this point, kind of within line. It sounds like sheriff's on board. We're kind of communicating. It's like where the money's coming from, like we're already talking about the raises over there. Like, is there any way that, I guess this goes together?
I mean, this is out of her budget, not the sheriff's budget. The
Yeah, so
bailiff
then
is
that's-
not paid by the sheriff.
No, it's paid by the court. But I need the
But
raise
both,
to be.
both raises are just coming out of the general fund.
Right.
But we haven't approved
Sandy
those.
was 20.
No.
Yeah, we came up with that number from dispatch and not,
And you're
and-
wanting an even 25, so.
Yeah, it's 271, it's 271 an hour and sheriff's is 272. Mathematically, based on what I've looked at his raises versus mine, and him and I chatting about it. So, I mean, he knew I was coming, he's supportive of that, he's the one that reached out to me about Tony, so. And the whole situation, just kind of the best, most ideal situation to,
I know Tony, he would do very well for you.
but I think he deserves the raise. I mean, we're talking 35 years. And I know he's retired, but he's got 35 years vested in Martin County. that speaks volumes to his ability to be, you know, an officer, ability to be in a courtroom, to handle high conflict situations, to make people in this building feel safe. I mean, him as a human, what he offers as an officer will be a huge asset to this building and the people that work in here. And I mean, the court would be just blessed to have him. So I hope y'all will support that raise. And I'm not just doing it for some person. It's him particularly. Like, that's what I'm here because I told him I would come here and ask for the money to get him to take the position. That's why I'm here. It isn't for any other person or any other reason.
So do you have any kind of job description to put together
Yes.
for that?
Yes, we did.
To cover everything going
Yes.
outside, being up here?
Yes, so whenever we started talking about the position, it was a part-time position last year. And I came back and asked for it to become a full-time position, and that got approved. And so, working on creating a part-time position, that's when we created that job description, when it became a full-time position. We revised that a little bit. There's also a contract that the sheriff and I have the bailiff sign about having those police powers, but Tony currently has all of his police powers. Yes.
Well, yes,
To do what I need him to do
for a little while.
till April, and then any training that would be currently, right now, if he accepts the job, he starts February 18th. Is what he tells me his start date would be, so he would be until he'd go through, and I've talked with the chief, and the chief's working on getting his uniform and training and all that lined out, subject to this approval.
Yep.
Done a lot of
To
work to
keep
get to
his
that
full
point.
powers, he's got to do some training.
Yeah,
He does.
but we
This
did
is-
get approved in our budget hours for training, so like, I'm not asking for any money outside of just the raise for him. We've got a budget, I think, 5,000. Sounds right. Between, I think, training and equipment and stuff.
And what did we approve for the bailiff to begin with? Up to 2229.
Yeah,
So we're needing an additional 270.
and I didn't calculate out, but it'd be 35 hours a week over 52 weeks, so I give you the
Close to
total.
5,000.
Yeah. I was thinking it was really in line with what the sheriff was doing. By cents,
Well, that's, the sheriff was 5,000.
yeah. I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Anything else?
Jim, if you're interested in seeing that, I can email it to you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, cause, if you're gonna have him down there and up here, just make sure it's in the description that he's.
I
gonna
worked
be
with
doing that.
court services to get it all lined out, so we have a lawyer that helps us create any kind of contracts or things like that, so we do. But I'm happy to send it to you though.
It'll be fine, yeah, I'd like to look at it.
So if you're not having court, he will be up here the whole time.
No, he'll be
Circulate.
Circulating.
walking
Right,
around.
that's what I mean, but there would be no reason to be downstairs.
I
Because
mean,
your
he
door
can
down
walk-
here is
he can-
locked, right?
Well, it's public downstairs, all the way to the bathrooms and out, so
Right,
he will. I am confident he will do what he believes is necessary every day that he is not in session with court.
right, that's what I thought.
But if we have court in session and we're on a recess, he will be downstairs. Helping people come in and out of the courtroom, figure out what their hearings are. I mean, if we have court in session, he'll be down there. If we don't, say I have it all morning and it goes off, then all morning he'll be wherever he wants to be. In the building and the perimeter of the building. He's gonna have a laptop, he'll have the cameras on the laptop, he'll have cause he can leave the metal detector on and not be standing by it, and it will tell him somebody has something on their person,
Wow.
which that does require some training with the,
They haven't done any training yet, or had they? Yeah, that's
I
what I
canceled
thought.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he will get trained, and they're willing to train whenever. They said as soon as I have a candidate ready, they're ready. So I'd probably schedule out that first week that he would start, or second week.
Yeah.
Depending on our trial calendar, we have trials right now set for the last week of February. If we have one that goes, then we would be doing that. I'd like to have him trained though before we have a jury trial on that.
You might talk him into coming in one of the weeks. I mean, if you could get it lined up, get him to come in, cause it's not gonna be
I don't think it's,
too many hours of training.
I don't think so.
It's not a lot to it. I mean,
He doesn't work full-time at the hospital, does he?
I think so.
Is he really?
Nights, I think.
So Warren, is there any concerns on funds here? So that comes out of the general?
I think it's there for right now.
Yeah, for right now until they.
I mean, under the rules we live under, it works,
The current rules.
and that's all we can go by,
I agree.
because them guys are saying all kinds of things. Do we have a motion now?
I'll make the motion that we give Tony Dance a raise. All right.
Thank you,
Give the position. I second that.
But
thank you.
the commissioners really give him the position, we're just controlling money.
Well, we already gave him the position already exists, so all you're doing is giving me a raise for that position, and it's for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
All
have
in
to,
favor? Unanimous.
sorry, we'll have to bring it back next month, cause we didn't do the appropriation for the bailiff increase. You know, it was after budgets.
Yeah.
So, just FYI.
I think it won't matter though, he can still start
Yeah,
at that rate.
Yeah,
But you won't have to come back.
I won't,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
thank you. The other issue I have, and I am coming a little, so your meeting's tonight, their meeting's tomorrow. So I am coming a little bit backwards, but if you give me the money, then I think they'll approve the position, so. I have 3 full-time court reporters. I have a lead court reporter who's been with the court for a long time, 13+ years. And then I have 2, court reporter, that's been with us not quite a year. And then another one that's not far behind, so 8 months maybe. The one that has been with us almost a year, is of an age that retirement is coming up. And I've been given notice that at the end of June, she is retiring. So I have the other one, who has been giving me notice that she's expecting, which we're all happy for her, because that was something they had to work hard to get. So, I'm gonna, so I think baby's due like in August. I'm losing one the end of July, baby due in August. So what I'm asking for is a temporary court reporter so that the one retiring can train one to replace her. I keep that position, so the one that goes on maternity leave can train someone to cover her position. And that leaves me with no lack of court staff. It's been challenging when we've had a shortage on court staff to maintain our load. And so I'm asking for a temporary court reporter. And I guess that depends on salary next year. If I say, if, you know, we really feel like that, I'm gonna ask for it again, I will. But right now, I'm only asking for it to be a temporary position to cover for my retiree to be able to train a replacement, and then have my person who goes on maternity leave train a temporary replacement. And I'm not ever without staff. And so I'd like to be able to, I think we used the rate that it was already set at as like
Mhm.
15 to 1966. I will tell you, I started the 2 at 1550, so I'll probably do that. I accelerated them raise wise. They're not getting paid 1966. I wanna say they're at 1880 something.
So how long? How
So,
many hours?
so
how
I'd
many
like
dollars?
to start advertising. And obviously, you know, you gotta interview some people. So I'm hoping, you know, maybe 90 days of training with the one. And then I probably wouldn't get 90 days on the other, but at least maybe 60. Yeah, July, you know, June, July. Maybe part of August. You never know when those babies wanna come, but. at least have somebody ready to fill that spot when she does go. So I would essentially have 4. Cause that temporary one would kind of stay filling these spots to where I'm gonna have
You
3.
can line up your candidates, they can be training 2 at one time, or have the one well on her way.
Right, but I wouldn't be able to pay them. That's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for that temporary position to be able to pay, be able to pay them. Shall we clean it?
That'd be a part-time position.
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that you would call it a part-time position. But it would be like a temporary position. I'm not asking for them to.
It wouldn't be
I'll
part,
preface that by, if I am asking for it to become a permanent position, I will do that during budget and salary time, which would be right around that August time anyway, so I would know, if we would benefit from that, but at this current moment, so there was a time that I had one staff person, that was Beth, because I could not keep people. This is the longest time that we've had any staff down there that's stable, and they're doing well, and seem to be able to maintain the task load, everybody's trained. But if I lose one and I don't have somebody to fill that position, it will be not great. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know that Beth will survive a second round of being by herself. It was brutal. She ran the court by herself. She did a jury trial by herself. It was not right. And I don't want to do that again. I don't think anybody should have to do that, carry that load like that. And so I have noticed, I know one's retiring, I know one's having a baby. I can't change those circumstances, but I can be prepared to have people ready to take over those jobs. And so that doesn't leave the court without staff. So I'm saying it's temporary. I will come to you in budget time if I ask for it to be anything more than that. But right now, that's what I want. So to answer your question, they would start March, let's say, because I'll probably have to advertise, interview. Say we start, March, April, May. The person goes out in June. So now I hire another, I advertise, what, I know that she's going out, hire. I've got June, July, maybe part of August. And then Nikki goes on leave, should be on leave for probably, 12 weeks. That gets you to where? Mid-August, 12 weeks. Probably like December-ish.
Mhm.
So then December-ish, Nikki would come back. And then that person's job would either, that'd be something I addressed at budget, or would be just ending. So I'm asking for it to be temporary for this year.
we have to pay insurance and stuff.
If it's full
Yeah, if it's
time,
full-time,
if
For
it's
that?
full time.
temporary.
Do 59 hours of part-time,
How many hours is part-time?
59.
Yeah, but who's gonna take that?
It's already bad enough. It's temporary.
Well, so the first one left out because it's temporary to a full-time job. Like I'm training them into a full-time job that they will replace the retired person. So I don't wanna say to them, it's part-time, because they are coming into a full-time. They're essentially just training their replacement.
Yeah, but it'd be
Yeah,
nice
you're-
on budget wise if it went in as part-time, going into full-time, because you're not sure if the person's gonna work out anyway.
Well, you never know if people are gonna work out, but most people don't take a position, especially this kind of job. I mean, it's not an easy job. There's a lot of work and a lot of training, and it's challenging. And it takes the right person. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the fact that I even have to have this conversation makes me wanna go out the door and puke a little bit, because it's terrible having to train these people. And then they walk out the door for a better job, make more money, or it doesn't work out and they just can't do the job. So the people I have right now are amazing. My court is running phenomenally. But I know it's getting ready to be a huge,
Well, you're not really hiring a temporary person, you're hiring a full-time person
Prior to the full-time position.
yeah,
prior to the fulltime
Right.
position.
it's a temporary position and I'm not asking for it to become. I mean, I don't know how you wanna, I don't know what you wanna classify
I
it.
don't have to go to a permanent, a temporary to permanent.
The first one anyways.
The first one is. The second person would
The
be,
second one would be temporary, like filling in for a maternity leave.
right,
I guess I get where you're coming from, and train ahead of time makes things more fluid. But I guess the question would be, is 90 days for training required?
oh,
I mean, we don't know the job description.
I'm gonna tell you right now, 90 days, they don't know what they're doing. The amount of coding, so the way that the court works is everything's electronic. We have an application through Tyler Technologies called Odyssey, and everything we do is paperless. You have to input codes for certain types of orders and dispositions of cases, and then there's statistical reports that we have to submit that if the coding wasn't done right, none of that is done right, and so it is, we got cheat sheets, that help people, you can call the help desk and they'll help you, but no, 90 days does not train a court reporter. 6 months trains you a decent court reporter. And I'm telling you, I've just trained them. And these are the longest two that I have kept. And that's because I came back and asked for substantial raises and y'all have given them to me. But Davis County pays court reporters probably $10 more an hour than we do. So I train them up and they'll take them away. Because every county around us pays more money than we do. But y'all know that.
You can't compete with them. You gotta love Martin County to do it.
I would say that it'll work for your first one. I don't know how well it'll work for your second one.
Yeah, the first one will be fine.
The first one is guaranteed a job.
Right.
The next one, I don't know how much we'll know by then,
I don't either,
but the second one is not guaranteed a job.
right?
And so who you find. Yeah. But. So how many dollars, what'd you say, 19?
I would probably
Yes,
start them at $15.50.
You pay how
So
much?
kind of for,
I would start them at $15.50.
You couldn't get your retired one to hang on until the end of the maternity leave, could you?
No. Nope. Believe me, I asked. She is not into that. Because it's a lot of responsibility. And there's a lot of stress. And being down to just 2 is very challenging, and so. If we are able to train somebody who does very well, and that person maybe would stay for that long, but I've been told no.
It just makes it easier, you know what I mean, to give you
I do,
the 90 days to train someone, and then you actually end up having longer than that.
right, I agree.
You supposed to Drew's retirement?
Uh,
Do you suppose Drew is part of retirement?
no, she ain't never turned away. Actually, the jury trial that Beth did, Drew came back in bailiff. So, in a pinch, she will help, but I don't think she wants to come back.
so you're kind of looking at,
Cause that'd be the other thing too, if there was someone that had previous experience to come back to fill maternity leave too.
I don't have anybody that I know of, but y'all know a court reporter that wants to come to work, bring them on. Send me their resume.
it's gonna be about 15,000,
Mhm.
and then insurance, another 15,000 for 6 months,
At least, yeah, at least.
so. Yeah, I mean, that's for 6 months if it's over that.
If she takes that full-time position. You know, whoever comes in there takes that full-time position, instead of going to Davis County. Once trained,
I don't know.
we see it a lot.
I unfortunately have. And I've trained a lot of court reporters. I don't know the number. Michelle, you know?
No.
No. A lot. It is not an easy job. It's not.
Is there something written that if you know they're not working enough, that you won't keep them? I mean,
Oh,
you
I
let them
let
go?
them go real quick. I tell them 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I can tell if you can do this or not. I promise you, 2 weeks. I know. You can just tell by the way somebody can sit in a courtroom. I mean, you're not dealing with easy stuff, so you gotta listen, you know. Some people don't wanna sit there. Say if they're 2 weeks, I don't wanna work this job.
34,000, right,
What's that?
for the six.
Probably. I'm just using my forehead.
Not to discount it, ain't a great job if you know somebody who's looking for a job or a corporate or advertising firm. Tell them to come on up. Get them a job.
When's the one retiring?
June.
June. So basically, I would just like to step into having somebody cover that maternity leave. And again, I'm not telling you it won't be back at budget time to say something different. But I'm saying right now what I'm saying.
I'm counting on you being back saying something different.
I would too.
I'm just not counting on us saying something different yet.
It's okay.
But you don't get it without asking, that's for sure.
It's a process. I've accepted it. And I come and I sit here and I answer all your questions. But it's necessary. I don't come and ask for things that aren't necessary.
Do you have anything in your budget for that?
Not, no. I think y'all took all my money.
Well, wait a minute now.
Pretty sure you took, you made me use it in my places that needed stuff.
Morning.
Oh, Monty said so.
Yeah.
I guess-
Hey, what's 120 days look like instead of 90 for the judge? Does that help her out any on training?
Well, she's needing 290s
Yeah.
is the problem, cause she's training one and then training the next one.
Well, if we do them both at 120, I mean, I understand her point that there's so many codes and anything that we do now on computers. But, you know, we're gonna get strapped for cash real quick, given the, sheriff's department to raise and now raising Tony. They're gonna put us in a pickle for money. Especially with the inmates in Vigo County gone.
Completely gone?
There's very few over there.
Last I knew, there was 33.
Vigo County was about $260,000 a year we may not have this year in our budget.
About 2 years ago, it was like 400 or 500,000.
Depends on the year, that was kind of. Yeah, about 350 average.
Anybody have an opinion?
I think it's easier to say that it's, needed or necessary for the first one, obviously. I think it's a little harder for the second one because then it's temporary. But then,
Well, Jordan, you'll get to know me. I'll come back in 6 months and tell you I need a fourth one.
right, I'll let you in.
That's just how I do it, so they're learning. I don't get what I went the first time, and I'll keep coming back, I'll just tell you now. I come back, and I come back, and I come back again.
You see
Again,
a
'cause
smiling
those
face
things are
every month until we say, yeah.
I do, I will,
That's straight out of general.
yeah. do have a job description, the handbook, but I think
68,000
You guys
total,
kinda have
I
your
didn't
own
bring
handbook
it.
too.
Yeah. I don't know how current it is.
Mhm.
190, the first one and the second. Currently, it's gonna be about the same.
But I don't know. I
Cause
think
you got
they just
train
take
time, you got
FMLA.
maternity leave
Mhm.
time, so you're looking at
Not paid, right?
65,000, 66,000.
Not unless she has like vacation hours or,
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever
insurance.
vacation she would have.
yeah.
Counting insurance.
Well, on the one. for the-
Yeah, we'll have to pay her vacation out if she
Yeah.
leaves.
Yeah, but we won't be paying that for. When you go on maternity leave, you have to take FMLA. We don't, in our county, we don't pay maternity leave. She'll only be entitled to whatever hours she'll have. Of
But the
vacation,
lady retiring, how many hours does she have?
a vacation. Well, they would have been whatever the handbook
Sure.
says, what was it? 15 days or something? Personal,
I think 10 personal and 10 vacation.
okay, so 20. So they probably have, both of them probably have around 20, maybe plus or minus a couple if they took them this year.
She's only been here a year, so she probably hasn't banked up that much.
No, they would both be under, yeah, they both started last year, 24, I'm sorry. So they, not much. So essentially, you're not paying. I mean, I would be creating that position, because you can't pay. You can't pay somebody their vacation time. And pay somebody out of that salary and wage who's not that person, so that you would have to create that fourth line item. To pay that part-time person, temporary person, but you're not actually gonna be paying them much. Because you're not paying your person on leave, unless we could change our policy and we pay maternity leave, which. That's a whole nother story. We can go
Don't
down that
go there.
road too if you'd like to, but
Don't go there.
I'm not there, I'm not asking for that tonight, so.
I don't think that's happening this month.
Yeah, so that, but anyway, just in terms of your mind and money, you probably wouldn't be paying both. You see what I'm
And
saying?
the second one for training, but you still have the, what, you said 90 days training, right? The training in that second one.
Yeah, so I wouldn't start the second one until the one retired,
Mhm.
right? And so at that point, yeah, I'm hoping somewhere June, I'm thinking like June, July, August, maybe not, maybe 90, maybe less. Could be 60, just, I don't have an exact June, I'm leaving this June date, like, I'm
Right.
willing to work with you, make sure you get somebody hired, trained, that kind of thing.
I was gonna be leaving in June, into June 1st.
I asked if she was willing to stay through the maternity leave, and she, at this point, hasn't, but she could change her mind, But I just would say you'd only be paying 3 court reporters, other than what my personal maternity leave has been given in terms of vacation and sick time.
Yeah.
As the handbook currently stands, unpaid.
So it wouldn't be 65, it would be,
They'd still be close
yeah, about 42,000.
Yeah,
because. It would be real close with however much time they've each got banked and stuff. I'd say you're gonna be real close to 60. Any more questions, any motions?
There would be no training funds in our budget, do we, anywhere?
Not like this.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
There's a little bit of training for people to go to state meetings and stuff.
yeah, I don't have any in my budget to use for anything else. We pretty much, at budget time, we pretty much took away whatever money I didn't spend and put it where we did spend it, so.
If we do anything, at this point in time, could we potentially make the motion for the first one. For her to train, not both of them at this time. And then kind of see how that plays out. And I would really like to see her revisit with the one that's wanting to retire to stay.
We can talk
Do
to
that
her,
next
give
time.
you her number. You got powers of persuasion.
Come on.
By all means, you give her a call. Talk her to stay, and I love her. She was with me in my private practice, so I'm not happy she wants to
Sure.
retire.
And Drew wouldn't come back to fill up pregnancy leave.
No way, you guys are funny. I begged Drew for him to work here before I was even the judge. She was not coming. Drew, if you're watching, you can come back.
We know where she lives.
She ain't never come back.
Huh?
We know her house, we know where she lives.
Yeah.
She would maybe bail it if I had to have her in a pinch. She did for a jury trial, but that was it. She's happy, retired.
Yeah, I knew she would be.
And I don't begrudge somebody for wanting to retire. They
No.
worked hard.
I don't either.
I hope to retire someday, so. In the meantime, I have to work and produce and hold court and issue orders and have it all right. So I need good people to do those things.
So she can come back before that last month's up and get set up for the next.
I'll come back. That's what you're asking me to do.
I'm just saying, if we do what he's
Yeah,
saying,
Jordan can make that motion.
if we go for the first one, then you can come back before that time's up.
Yeah, I agree. Tell you how it went. Fine.
Tell
Happy
us
to do
that-
that.
Tell us that you found somebody that only needed a month's training and is ready to move on.
Hey, if there's another Nikki out there. I think it took me 10 to get her, so
And you can get the commissioners to approve
I'll
the
just
whole
call,
deal and.
I'll just call Paul and say you guys are on board. I don't have to come to the meeting tomorrow because you guys approved it, so. That'll save me a trip. If you guys give me the money out, they won't even wanna see me.
They have to approve the position.
They will.
All we got. Don't everybody speak at once.
I'm thinking about the same way Jordan was, but
I mean, I really think the training is needed, but what we're gonna pay for it at?
We have to pay for out of the general fund.
Yeah, I
That's the
know.
only money that there is.
Yeah, I know, but
That's all money you have.
Michelle, was we paying for, was the bridge being paid for out of the general fund?
It was out of edits fund.
Okay,
I think the commissioners are still working on that other option if we're willing to go with it, but I don't know that they wanna spend a lot of money if we're not. If we're gonna cut them off at the knees again.
can I make a motion and not be there through Zoom, or how's that work?
Yeah.
You're here.
Yeah.
I think meetings are still legal on Zoom, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we, approve the first one with 90 to 120 days of training. And the second one, she'll have to come visit us within the 90 to 120 day period to see how it's going.
I think if you only like trained by 90 days, they're not gonna make it. Are they?
I'll tell you the first 2 weeks,
Ah,
I'll make it.
yeah, I know. That's what I mean. He said 90 to 120 days.
Well, I mean, he's saying to approve that training, so if I do find a good candidate, that would then, I assume Monty, that's what you mean?
That's correct. That's not, I don't want to lose somebody because they have a hiccup and, they have a bad day. and they come back and regroup themselves and you can see that they are gonna be a good person. And here it is 90 days, you guys say, well, you gotta go on your own. Let's give them a little bit more time because you are true. It's a complicated position.
Or if it goes real well, you might be training the second one in 120 days.
Well, that at least gives me the coverage for the person retiring, for that person to train their replacement, you know. I'm happy to come back and, you know, say I asked her and she'll stay through retirement, through maternity leave. I still think we'd have to have that position though. Because I don't know that you could pay.
You
know what I'm saying? Like, I still-
Your maternity leave though is gonna be off payroll.
Right.
So
Well-
you have the funds for it.
You would have the funds, but I still think you'd have to have that temporary
So we just
position
lost that.
remain,
No,
because
we
you
didn't
have to
lose it.
pay out of a separate line item. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cause each person we pay on our payroll, they have a line item fund that we pay them out of, yeah.
No.
But I can come back, I mean, I don't. it's
We have a
fine.
motion. Do we have a
It's all
second?
accounted for. Spent.
It's all accounted for. The
I
highway,
figured that
back
was-
and something else.
I'll second it.
Gerald, second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Did you vote, Jim?
Yes.
All in favor?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll see you in a couple of
Yeah,
days.
I'm a yes, obviously, since I made the motion.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
back, let's see, maybe May. June, maybe May, depending on what date in June they retire.
So they'll be fully trained by then, right?
I hope so. Probably not, but they'll probably be doing well if they're a good candidate. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
You got a candidate in mind?
No, I gotta advertise. I'll post, we post on Indeed. So I'll post on Indeed starting fairly soon. I wanna make sure I get that 90 to 120, so I'll get the date in retirement in June and go backwards 120 days.
Good luck on Indeed, the amount of resumes you get are unreal.
Yeah, I look at most of them, and if they're surrounding county, yeah. But we've had
Ye-
good success.
You do have an extra $1 an hour or so in your budget that you could throw at the one that's retiring, say, hey, would you stay
And
for
I
the?
could, and I may, 'cause I don't wanna see her leave, but
Fucking half, maybe?
yeah, I think I got like $1,
Because if that would keep her, that would cut down
but I would, yeah,
your training time.
Just here in the maternity time.
Yeah.
right. And she may be willing depending on who I hire and how good they are,
Yeah, how good they're getting along.
Mhm.
yeah.
We'll, leave
That's-
that to you then.
That's your ballpark, Eric.
I'll do my best.
Thank
You
you.
won't have to come back in June.
I'm happy to come back anytime.
See
Bye.
you later.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do need to change the salary and wage ordinance, but, cause it says I put part-time court reporter, so I'm gonna have to put court reporter 4, I guess, or something. So,
I'll probably go ahead with temporary so that we
Well-
don't get the budget time and it's late on us that we already got a fourth position.
I'd leave it temporary.
well, it says part-time court reporter, I can put temporary instead of part-time. I really thought it would be a part-time position, I misunderstood her.
Second. Temporary.
Yeah, the third.
So you're gonna make this temporary.
Yeah, I'll change it before you guys sign it.
Okay, the probation officer.
Oh. That is,
That's one we moved last.
yeah, what you guys, the last council approved. In her supplemental adult probation fund, they agreed to pay like 36,000 out of there. And this is the difference on what you guys said you'd go up to, I believe 56,000. You capped it at a dollar amount. So this is the difference. If they were hired to hire someone with that experience, so not necessarily this much, but
That's as high as it can be.
yeah, that's as high as the last council approved. So this is just the additional appropriation to put that in the budget.
Second? Second. Jim and Jim. All in favor? Unanimous?
Commissioner's cell phone, that's actually for HR's cell phone. She, instead of doing the desk phone upgrades, she transferred her desk phone number to a cell phone. So now she just, instead of using her personal phone, cell phone, I wanted to use a cell phone instead, county paid instead of a desk phone. So commissioners approved for her to have a cell phone, so this is the money to be able to pay that.
Do we have a motion? She works from home most of the time, right?
Was she part-time?
Yeah, 59 hours.
Are we looking for a second?
We're looking for a first.
So the commissioners they approved that then?
They approved for her to have a cell phone.
Gotcha, so then,
We have,
yeah.
we have to approve the money.
If she had a cell phone.
Which she does.
She already has it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll make the
yeah,
motion.
I'll second that.
Jim's motion, Jordan second, all in favor? Unanimous?
And office extension, or extension office rent, we were, back when Soil and Water was in the extension office, we were paying monthly rent and utilities. And they moved out and went to the building at the Alliance. So for the first about 9 months of last year, we didn't pay any rent to the 4-H council. And then they told us, and I've looked this up in the contract, we do pay rent for the extension office to have them in the behind the community building. Cause the 4-H council owns that building, the county doesn't, so we do have to pay rent for the extension. So we
We
didn't.
own that front building.
Mm-mm.
No.
The
It's all,
council does too. So that's why it didn't get put in the budget, because we didn't realize at that time that, we owed rent for that.
and this is just the year's rent, right?
Yeah. That's only $150 a month.
Yeah, right.
I mean, fuel on that,
Yeah, and electricity and
Yeah,
haven't turned on the water, but yeah. No busted
I
pipes.
mean, we're paying all that stuff already, and then we're gonna pay rent out again. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
We have a motion on this.
I can't email the ordinance, I'll make a motion to pay it.
Jim. Emby and Jim. All in
Did you make a
favor?
Motion to pay it.
Unanimous?
Much as I hate to.
We really need to do separate over here.
Sure.
Yeah, Sheriff's Department hire bonus, he brought a check from commissary funds, for 8,000, 2,000 of that, sheriff's deputies. And, 6,000 of that, to jail officers or dispatch. So we do have that money in the account to pay those. Pending your approval for appropriation.
So it's coming out of the commissary money.
Yeah,
So it's not actually coming from the general fund at all. I mean,
no, he gave us commissary money for that, but it has to be paid through payroll, so that's why we.
All of his hiring bonuses come out of commissary.
Yeah.
Make a motion transfer from.
My second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Edifund, dental insurance, 20,000, and vision insurance, 6,000. This is the county match portion.
For the
So,
year?
about, I think the dental was about 17 is what I figured, but I didn't know what new employees might come on or any changes, so that might be a little high.
So you just,
Well, you've
you
got
estimated that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got one coming that's probably gonna take it.
Yeah, vision, it's a little higher, it wasn't much higher, also, but
But that should cover it.
yeah. So that's the 50% match, or not match, but
Is that
County
transfer
contribution.
Funds or put into?
Coming from,
coming from edit, but new funds, not a
Okay.
transfer from anywhere. The county last year didn't pay anything on the dental or vision.
So that was already agreed upon prior? Or
Um,
where that was?
no,
coming
the-
from?
no, the commissioners, when it was working out the insurance stuff, decided to pay, what was it? All of, or half,
Half of the,
is it half or all of the employee?
well, half of any of the plans, so it can be
Okay.
employee family,
Okay,
employee
I
spouse,
couldn't remember what they did,
yeah.
and so,
So they're paying half and the employee's still paying half.
Yeah,
I don't have any of it, so.
We didn't do today.
That's what I was, yeah, that's what I mean.
There should be a meeting before the meeting, after the meeting.
Yeah.
that's, the commissioners are good about trying to stay on the right track. This one did get ahead of them.
and it really kinda, yeah, just happened, I don't think they really intended either, it kinda got advertised, the flyers from Walker Hughes had it on there, so it got distributed to all the employees and yeah, they kind of, commissioners had kind of agreed, but I don't know. It could have went better if we,
There was a lot of complications in that whole insurance process.
I see.
It seems a little messy.
Yeah.
We're just happy we finally got there.
most people have coverage, yeah, I just got dental Fridays, so.
I'll make the motion.
Jordan's motion, the second,
I did.
Sherry, all in favor? Unanimous.
And motor vehicle highway, business and travel. Highway expense. This appropriation, I know they're sending, I believe, 4 employees to training,
4 employees, did you say?
I believe 4.
What kind of training?
I wish was here.
Talked to him briefly about it. I believe it's for chip and seal training
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
in Wisconsin, I believe.
Yeah,
And what's what?
Wisconsin, I believe, where they're going, but there's several
Not a good
surrounding,
time of year to go to Wisconsin.
there's several surrounding counties that are taking several members as well, from what I understand.
How's their mode of travel?
I believe they're driving, but
Oh, okay.
definitely not, yeah, not flying.
How'd they come up with this number?
I believe it would be,
4 people for how many days?
For chip and seal?
I know, but I mean, I just wonder how they come up with this number if they're taking 4 people for a week,
let me call
Meals,
Teresa. I can't-
travel.
Honestly, don't know, she
I
just
think they're
mentioned it
gonna
on
be
the
coming back
phone.
and asking for a little more.
I don't know.
And when is this?
I don't know the exact date of that either.
And
I just
what
got a-
4 employees? I mean, is it-
Sorry, here,
It's not some kind
I
of.
got you at the meeting.
employee, is it?
No,
Okay.
just training.
they have questions and I don't know the answer to.
Okay.
So I have you on speaker.
Okay.
Did you tell me it was 4 people?
Yes.
Okay, and, Jim Hamby asked how the $3,500 was figured. So you know, like, how much the registration is and like how many days it is?
Yeah, they're up at the school, it's $100 a day per person.
Okay.
11:30 to
In the
12:15.
hotel room.
I mean,
At game
How many
day
days
for
is
the training.
2 days.
Okay,
so 800 for,
The meals,
no, for the class.
yeah, for the class, then
They can
Two
do it
rooms.
if they want to.
There's no way they're gonna get that for 45.
and they're driving, right?
Yes, they're driving up there. And it's a 6-hour drive up there.
Wisconsin, right? You said,
Just
Right
outside
on
of
the edge of
Chicago.
Wisconsin and Illinois, I believe.
I would think that.
they get covered
Like
that,
Eggmeyer, what it's
hotel and
called.
everything. Mileage,
it's Chip and Seal, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Are they taking a county vehicle or,
taking Scott's truck,
I don't know if those are,
I don't know if they're gonna take a county vehicle, if they're gonna take Scott's truck since it's actual 4 doors.
okay. I didn't know whether his work truck was or not.
It's got a back seat, but it's not a full back seat.
Yeah,
Those
but
aren't
I
fun
mean-
for 6 hours.
Do we have any idea?
How
what
much
the
is
room's gonna
hotel?
be?
The hotel was right around $400 and not, or for per person for the stay.
400, so 1,600.
So it gives them
I think they're gonna be coming back and asking for more money.
I mean, if this is what we give them, I mean, that,
2,400 bucks, really.
yeah.
It's 2,400 right there.
I'm gonna pencil transfer from postage and security as well.
Probably, yeah, if you need to.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we need, I think. Anybody else have questions for?
Did she say when this was?
Yeah, when is that?
It's like the second week in March. Yeah, cause they have that one and then we have road school right after that. Yep, this,
Who goes to
Second
road
week of
school?
March.
Just you and Scott?
just me and Scott, yeah.
How much does that cost?
Just the hotel stay for 2 nights. So I haven't looked at what the hotels are.
That's a Purdue, right?
Yes.
Lafayette.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim, Jim Hamby's motion, Jim Woody's second.
Does the county highway have a county credit card
Yeah, they do.
or they're taking that with them?
Yeah.
Okay. So that'd be coming out of that, whatever they spend on the county credit card.
Mhm. Yeah, all departments have a credit card.
All in
Okay, when they
favor?
hit that amount, they're done. You're off. You run out of money, you hit it.
All in favor? Unanimous.
We've already done the last one.
Now, got
Wow.
the top of the page wage ordinance.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
But you're gonna have to change it.
Jordan Berry.
You've been pointed out.
Wave.
So we don't sign this until you change that
Yeah, I
one,
wanna
right?
change it. It's in here, but yeah, we need to talk about the $5,000 increases for the,
All those girls from Fort Knox, you can tell they all lifted weights. You
Monty,
can
you're
see it in their
still,
arms. Oh, so
I muted him once. He unmutes. Um, so the $5,000, increases are the amended hourly rates. And I sent you two different versions and I apologize. The first version, I took the 5,000 divided by the 2080 hours for the year. And then I sent a second version, which was the 5,000 divided by the 23 payrolls, I think, which 1840 hours, I believe. But after I talked to Warren and he said not to overcomplicate it. And I was thinking too hard on that. I guess that we didn't necessarily say it would be in this calendar year. So I went back to the 5,000 divided by the 2080 hours in the year. So the 5,000, it'll carry over into next year also.
So $5,000 raise, it's just not paying out 5,000 in the calendar year.
No, 'cause
They're not calendar year employees, they hired on for a job that he said is giving them a $5,000 raise. But it would include if we do it kind of a week's back pay so that it's on this pay schedule, but they've already worked 1 week of it. So cover this next payroll.
is there, why, how come the sheriff didn't come in with it?
He said he couldn't, I don't know.
Yeah, probably because he'd already talked to you guys. Before.
I don't think we ever approved it though, right?
Oh, no, we can't prove
I
anything.
mean, we never said we were gonna do this.
No. And I found an issue with the matron's salary. I found, which sheriff had said this previously, but I did find the state statute where it says the matron, has to be paid the same amount as the lowest paid deputy. So when her salary was figured last year, there was always one deputy that was paid less. But he'd raised that deputy, patrol deputy 3, he raised that to the same pay as the other two. So I missed her salary getting increased also. So she got 5%, but she didn't get the same pay match as the lowest paid deputy. So that's why hers is a little bit more of an increase than the, I think $2.41. It's a little bit more than 5,000 due to the penny rounding also. I think it's $5,012. And there's 2 additional positions on there also, under the jail, the correction officer 5 and the communications officer 2 are new positions. And traffic safety enforcement, that's on there because, they have the deputies, we have a grant from the state of Indiana.
School bus.
Yeah, school bus enforcement, and then, we were paying time and a half last year, but, the sheriff submitted to the grant to pay double time this year, so they're double time when they work that school bus.
Doesn't, oh,
What are
that's
they?
not the one that's in the school, cause I know, them. Don't they have their own people
yeah.
in the school, both of them?
Yeah, these are officers, that'll, they follow the bus sometimes, I mean, either
Yeah.
follow or,
The park real close to it.
yeah.
So this is reflecting the pay increases that we had previously spoke to him about, and then that's the 2 positions you just referred to that he was asking for.
Yeah.
Make a motion for part of it, not the other part.
I'm sure you.
I guess you can. I don't know what it works. I think it's a problem we have to address somehow.
Yeah, telephone probably just lost all of Beagle County.
Yeah.
We'll have to address that at budget time. If you don't fix it before then. Hopefully Vigo County will start sending them back, but
Get another county. Beagle's not the only one.
he implied that he was trying to get people in. I haven't talked to him for a while, but
In his last meeting, he said he's gonna work on and even looking into other counties also.
And I know the patrol deputies. I'm sure, but they have nothing to do with the people in the jail.
No,
not unless,
So,
yeah,
I mean, I think we need to think about these raises on, is he gonna be able to bring these people back for us to help with this budget? Just my feeling on it.
but I think probably at this point, we've gotta do what we've gotta do and then whatever happens at budget time, I mean, if the money's not there,
Well, you can't take them back 5,000 at budget time.
no, but we may not be able to buy trucks, I don't know what the answer is,
Yeah.
but
And I know they put their life on the line every time they go out, but we gotta pay for it. Anybody else feel like I do?
Yeah, the sheriff said a couple times that he would need, how many correction officers are in the jail, no matter how many inmates they had. I know I've heard him say
Oh, I
that.
agree with that, yeah.
Mm.
yeah, he's way understaffed in correction as far as the state goes. We understand that.
Yes, also is this going to allow him to be in Evans and get more?
Or be able to keep more, he said he's fully staffed.
Well, what he has in his budget, yeah.
Well, he's fully staffed, what our budget's allowing him to be staffed.
Right.
But he's not fully staffed. You know, when you got an officer working by themselves every night, that's not fully staffed.
Yeah, exactly, but if we add these ones like we said we were going to,
well, we're not addressing officers,
No.
we're just,
I know, but
Yes.
here it's got corrections officer and communications officer, that's people in the jail.
Mhm.
yeah,
So that's adding those people in that we,
yeah. I think we just have to do the right thing and count on the sheriff to do his part.
I'll make the motion that we give the 5,000 and appropriate the money for the two people. We're understaffed inside of the jail. If we don't give the people any more money, we're gonna lose more officers.
Hey, you heard the beginning of the conversation. This is starting now. This is an hourly raise for a 5,000 a year increase. Not 5,000 between now and December 31st.
That's
It's raising
correct.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Okay.
were gonna back pay. Michelle talked to me a little bit about it today when I was at the courthouse.
Yeah, he stopped in, so I told him what to.
Yeah, okay. So it'll take care of this pay period forward. That's what you're saying, right, Monty?
That's correct, Warren.
In second, all in favor? Unanimous? And he was changing that
Yeah, I need to change the wording for the,
part-time
yeah, the court reporter,
thing report, or
but Tim, yeah.
Changed it there up already. Filled it for nights.
He corrected that in there, right?
Yeah, yeah, now it's at 25 on you.
Mary, you're the crowd out there. You got anything?
No, I don't. Thank you for asking. I just like to welcome the new council members. Wish you well.
Thank you.
She's a faithful attendee, but she wasn't here last week, or last meeting.
Former dispatcher too, so.
Yeah, I remember her dispatching day.
Courthouse will be closed Monday the 17th for President's Day. Next council meetings, March the 3rd at 6:30. Anybody have anything else? Was that all you had, Michelle?
Yeah, that's all I have. You guys have a few papers I need some, like, some may have on their desk, I need signed nepotism and
These,
insurance,
these two, yeah, everybody has to fill out.
some's turned in, I got Daryl's and yours. So,
Wonder who's gonna give us a motion for going home.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
All in favor? Thank you very much.
you do have-
You've got a bunch of pages signed.